The November 28th, 2022 regular Wasilla City Council meeting is called to order. The time is 6 p.m. Before we begin, council, please put away cell phones. If you have personal business to attend to during the meeting, please move for a recess. If you're participating telephonically, please mute your phone unless speaking. Also, when speaking, please state your name for those streaming the meeting. As a reminder to all attendees, this meeting is being streamed live. The camera is located directly in the back of the council chambers above the clock. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Graham?
Here.
Councilmember Johnson?
Here.
Councilmember Brown? I believe he is on the
Here.
line. Councilmember Velock?
Here.
Councilmember Rubio?
Here.
Councilmember Sullivan Leonard is absent and excused. You do have a quorum, Madam Mayor. Councilmembers Graham, Johnson, and Rubio are with us in council chambers. Councilmembers Brown and Velock are participating telephonically.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and Mr. Johnson, would you lead us?
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item of business is approval of the agenda. Are there changes to the agenda? Hearing none, the agenda will stand as presented. There are no special orders of the day, and we are now at Commission and Agencies Report. The Wasilla Landscape Standards Review Committee, their minutes are in the packet, so if you would read them in your packet, please. And Wasilla High Student Representative.
Hi, sorry. My name is Chase Hagelberger. I am the Student Body's Media Secretary. So our updates for y'all are Warrior Volleyball. They were the 2022 Northern Lights Conference Region Champions. They defeated Colony in an overtime match for 30-28. The Warriors had beat the Knights twice to be NLC champions. Additionally, the Warriors placed fourth at state and received an all-academic award for best overall GPA. Deshaun Campbell was the state champion in men's diving at the Ossaw Diving Championships at Bartlett in early November. The state of Alaska released every school's graduation rate for the 2021-2022 school year. Wasilla High School came in at a 93%. We are now back to our pre-pandemic graduation rates. It fell to 88% during the pandemic. Warrior wrestling and hockey are in full swing. Wrestling regions is in 2 weeks and state is in 3. Warrior basketball begins on Wednesday. WHS is seeing a significant increase in student access because of the extra opportunities in 4Cs. Specifically, school-wide data after Q1 showed 7% of students' grades were Fs. This is a considerable decrease from the last comparable year, 2019, where we show 23% students' grades were Fs. After Q1. Finally, Warrior Nation would just like to thank Mayor Ledford and City Council members for all of your continued service to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? I have one, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, I just heard that the Wasilla Band is going to Disney,
Yes, ma'am.
and they are doing fundraisers.
Yes.
So can you tell us anything about that?
I know some other fundraisers are going to be their concerts that they put on. I know they have a Christmas concert next week, but other than that, I'm not 100% sure. The best way to figure that out would be with our band director, Miss Jackie Johnson.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
When is that trip?
It's,
No idea.
it's not.
Is it soon?
I think it's
not soon.
Okay,
I think
thank
it's
you.
next
It's in
year.
2023.
End of May.
Yeah.
End of May.
He knows.
End of May of this year, or of this coming year?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that.
Okay. Airport Advisory Commission, Eric.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
So the Airport Advisory Commission met on November 17th. Their only item of business was to pass a resolution of support for the expansion of the airport. It was a meeting that needed to happen because of public noticing requirements. So that'll be coming in front of the commission here soon. And it also served as a good public comment time. There were members of the public that wanted to speak, and so we heard some good feedback. So it was a longer than expected meeting, but it was very good to hear from the public.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Okay, to Eric. So you've had good public participation with that. So can you give us a little bit of synopsis of any of the public, sort of the highlights from the public comments?
Absolutely. We sent a letter out to the users just reminding them that storage on the premise need to be related to aviation. And so there were comments about what exactly does that mean? If I run a business and I have equipment that's related to the business, can I store it there? So we have some nuances to work out. There's also some discussion about traffic flow, parking on taxiways, kind of housekeeping for an orderly airport, and then reiteration that we need a airport manager. So that's the high points.
Thank you.
If I may, Madam Mayor?
Yes.
You mentioned you need an airport manager. How long has it been since the Wasilla Airport had an airport manager?
I don't believe there's ever been an airport manager.
And is that a proposition that the commission will be bringing forward in any sort of detail? Or?
Yes, in our next meeting, I apologize, I don't remember if it was scheduled in December yet or not. They're kind of working out a more frequent schedule meeting, so I don't know if they picked a date yet. We are going to talk about rates. They're really interested in raising the rates. And one of the reasons they want to raise rates is to pay for an airport manager and to have, we don't technically have a full-time person at the airport. We have a 60% maintenance person. So they want to have a person on the ground most of the time so that visitors and users have someone to talk to directly. And so their vision is to fund an airport manager and hire an airport manager and really bring Wasilla up to some of the standards that people expect today.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other questions for Eric? We are now at public participation. There are 3 ordinances scheduled for public hearing, so Madam Clerk, please read the title of the first ordinance.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That's ordinance serial number 2237 on funding the fiscal year 2023 youth court budget by accepting and appropriating $5,000 from the Matsu Health Foundation and $10,000 from the MEA Charitable Foundation for costs associated with continuing legal education for the Matsu Youth Court program.
The public hearing on ordinance serial number 22-37 is open. Anyone who'd like to testify, please come forward and begin by stating your first and last name. You have 3 minutes. So the public hearing is closed. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance serial number 22-37?
Madam Mayor, so moved.
Is there a second?
Rubio seconds.
It's been moved by Councilmember Johnson and seconded by Councilmember Rubio to adopt ordinance serial number 22-37. Is there discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Mr. Graham?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For those not familiar, the youth court is something that the city of Wasilla has supported for a very long time, as has the Matsu Borough. And over time, over the years, we have found other persons willing to come forward and help us support. But I mean, the youth court is a huge service that is provided to allow youngsters that pretty much have one strike to have that strike essentially erased from their record so that they can move on and prove that they should not have that on their record and it should not be a blight. So to MEA and to the Matsu Health Foundation, thank you very much for stepping up, and I look forward to voting for this ordinance. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please take a roll call vote on adoption of ordinance serial number 2237.
Thank you. Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Velock?
Yes.
Rubio.
Yes.
The motion to adopt ordinance serial number 2237 passes unanimously with council members Graham, Johnson, Brown, Velock, and Rubio in support. Councilmember Sullivan Leonard is absent.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please read the title of the second ordinance.
It's ordinance serial number 2238, repealing Wasilla Municipal Code, Chapter 5.24, entitled Grant Programs in its entirety.
The public hearing on ordinance serial number 22-38 is open. Anyone who would like to testify, please come forward and begin by stating your first and last name. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person.
I'll do it. My name is Tom Stearns, and I'm the Senior Ambassador for the Wasilla Area Seniors Incorporated. I believe that you should pass this ordinance because it's a dead issue. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak to this ordinance? Hearing none, public hearing is closed. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance serial number 2238?
Madam Mayor,
Ms. Velock.
I move ordinance for 2230.
Is there a second?
Rubio seconds.
Is there discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Madam,
I'm sorry, Ms. Velock.
Go ahead, Ms. Velock.
I was in I was in support of a one-time grant distribution to the nonprofits due to the health of our city because of the one federal money we received. Since we don't anticipate ever receiving that kind of money again, an agreement that we don't want to be an official grant program. So I am in support of giving the grant program entirely.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gray.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Ms. Velock. Even though this ordinance essentially, the grants program essentially would have timed out at the end of the year, I think based on citizen feedback, it's appropriate that we take formal action to repeal it. Before we repeal it, I want to express my thanks to those that served on the committee and did a lot of hard work to try and find a middle ground to make this work. And it did not work, did not reflect the values of the community or the desires of the community, but their work nonetheless shows that the council is listening to the community and is trying to move things forward for the community, even though they know that that work may not produce any fruit. But thank you to the committee, and I will vote in support of this ordinance.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please take a roll call vote on the adoption of ordinance serial number 2238.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Velock?
Yes.
Rubio?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
The motion to approve ordinance serial number 2238 passes unanimously with council members Graham, Johnson, Brown, Velock, and Rubio in support. Councilmember Sullivan Leonard is absent.
Madam Clerk, please read the title of the last ordinance scheduled for public hearing tonight.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ordinance serial number 2239, amending the fiscal year 2023 budget by appropriating $39,355 from the general fund balance for repairs to the Matcom light pole and privacy fencing from the January 2022 windstorm.
The public hearing on ordinance serial number 2239 is open. Anyone who would like to testify, please come forward and begin by stating your first and last name. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Seeing no one, the public hearing is closed. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance serial number 2239?
Madam Mayor, I move ordinance serial number 2239.
Is there a second?
Second by Councilman Johnson.
It's been moved by Councilmember Graham and seconded by Councilmember Johnson to adopt ordinance serial number 22-39. Is there discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Graham?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A couple of questions for Public Works. I noticed in the packet there was only one bidder was presented for each of the two projects, one for the electrical work and one for the fencing work. Were they the only bids received? Typically, we receive information on all the bidders received. I just wasn't sure if they were the only bidders. Pass the buck. Go for it.
I can answer your question now. This project precedes me, but what is in your packet are quotes to establish a bounds on where we think the bids will go. So they are not bids, they're just quotes to get us to this funding opportunity before you.
All right, and also, as part of the wind damage, the monument sign was damaged, the one on the eastern entrance there. Could this be amended to fix that monument sign to get it level again so it matches the stature of the facility?
I will have to look into that, but I'm unaware of that damage, but I'll have to look into that and get an answer to you.
Okay, and last week I asked, or not last week, during the special meeting, I had asked about is the city going to retain the privacy fencing that is going to be replaced there? Did you have a chance to look into that?
I did. Spoke with my deputy, and he feels there's enough value in putting that out for auction. So we'll make it part of the contract that it's salvaged and turned over to the city. We can go through our normal surplus process for that.
Great, thank you, sir. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will vote in favor of this.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please take a roll call vote on the adoption of ordinance serial number 2239.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Vilak?
Yes.
Rubio?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
The motion to adopt ordinance serial number 2239 passes unanimously with Councilmembers Graham, Johnson, Brown, Vilak, and Rubio in support. Councilmember Sullivan Leonard is absent.
We are now at persons to be heard, a time for members of the public to share their views with council. This is not a question and answer period or a time for dialogue. Speakers may be referred to administration, or issues raised may be taken under advisement by the council or administration. And first is Jeannie.
Mayor, Council, Jeannie Trushinsky, President, Friends of Wasilla Library. This afternoon I was at the library. I'm working with a student. We've been working for several months. She's painting a couple of our carts that we have for books for our book sale, and we're dedicating them to Jim and Julie Eade, who are longtime supporters of the Wasilla Library. And just by serendipity, the Air Force Band came in, and it was just so wonderful and so heartwarming. They were just amazing, and that was really awesome. And I was an awesome surprise to have them just come in. And the library is perfect. We have acoustics that are awesome with that wood ceiling in there. I want to say thanks to Public Works for the Christmas lights at the library. This is the second year we've had the Christmas lights there. The city always looks so great, and it's really nice to have the lights put up there at the library too. At our last library board meeting, we voted to dedicate to Bert Cottle a summer reading. Well, we're going to have the Bert Cottle summer reading grand prizes that we're going to give out from now on. Bert was a longtime supporter of kids. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times he talked to me and say, "It's good for the kids, Jeannie, we need to do this." And he really lived that and believed that. And so we wanted to do something with the money that we received to honor that and to honor his support of the library. So we hope that we'll be able to have 6 bikes this year. He talked also a lot about how in Valdez they always gave out bikes at the summer reading program. So we've kind of been thinking about it, but now we're really thinking about it because his voice is up there telling us that. But we like to do 6 bikes in memory of him and the 6 years that the new library is there that just simply would not have been there without him. His persistence in helping us work with the community to get it done, and really to follow the phenomenal process of having it completely paid for when it was done. It's something that we're so proud of with the library, that we don't owe a ton of money still on it, that we're paying off perpetually. So we've already received $340 in toward that goal, and we'll continue to work on that. I went to price bikes at Walmart, and like, I'm getting old, I haven't bought a bike for a kid in a long time, and woohoo! But we think that'll be a great way to remember Bert, and so that's what we're up to right now. So thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Stearns, you're next.
Good evening. My name is Tom Stearns. I'm the Senior Ambassador for the Wasilla Area Seniors Incorporated. My oh my, it's pie. Well, that's over. But hopefully you all had the opportunity to get some of our pies and be involved in our auction. While all the numbers are not finalized, we did bring in about $7,700 for WASI. We had 204 guests that registered to bid during the auction, and the three top things on the auction, there was a small Damascus knife that had 68 bids. There was a chainsaw carved bear that had 42 bids, and then Kim's Famous Fudge had 38 bids. That one I won. Or one of the three. And so that was very successful. Our craft fair was very successful. They're thinking of maybe going back to 2 days because it was so successful next year. So we'll see about that. The Will House project is moving along. We're putting out the paperwork for that. Hopefully they'll give us some money and we can start breaking ground next year. But right now, the key issue, the thing that we're working on right now, is to our Christmas giving program. Each year we have a program where we fill bags with things that seniors need, and I'm just going to read what we have here. Help us change lives for the better and allow us to do what we do best, make a difference, and bring unexpected happiness to seniors throughout the Mat-Su. Last year, with the help of a few elves in the community, Santa delivered over 400 gifts to seniors in our programs. Be a part of this amazing event by donating items for our Christmas giving event. Items will be assembled and wrapped by our wonderful volunteer elves. The following is a list of items that you can donate. Towels, both kitchen and bath, hand soap, pump style, preferred, warm socks, warm hats, blankets, individual snacks, cheese, crackers, cookies, that stuff. And it can be brought over to our organization by the 22nd. And then we'll get it out there, and we'll send it out with our Meals on Wheels. And since this will probably be the last time that I will see you before the holidays, the leadership and staff of the Wasilla Area Seniors Incorporated wishes you all a wonderful holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stearns. Okay, up next is Danielle Pond.
My name is Danielle Pond. I am the Outreach Service Manager at Wasilla Area Senior Center. Going off of what he said about Christmas giving, it is December 22nd. We're accepting donations until the 19th, so it gives us a few days to get stuff in the bags and ready to go. If items aren't your speed to donate, feel free to just donate towards the event in general. We can go pick stuff up. Snacks are welcome. They're very, very much appreciated. But if they can get donated closer to the day so they stay fresh. And starting December 7th, I put together 12 Days of Christmas. Feel free to come have lunch with us or sponsor a lunch and come see everyone's Christmas spirit, Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 12:30. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak at this time? Seeing no one, then we will move on to the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, please read the title of items for approval under the consent agenda.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have the regular meeting minutes of November 14th, 2022. We have one ordinance for introduction with a public hearing date of December 12, 2022. That's ordinance serial number 2240, authorizing the mayor to grant certain easements and permits in furtherance of the Wasilla Main Street Rehabilitation Project. No resolutions and no action memorandums.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as read?
So moved by Councilman Johnson. However, I'd like to reserve the right to a quick discussion over this item.
Okay, is there a second?
I think she's second. Maybe Rubio second.
Okay, it has been moved by Councilmember Johnson and seconded by Councilmember Rubio to approve the consent agenda as read. So,
So, I mean, really, it's up to the body. Normally, we don't have discussion under the consent agenda, but I believe Mr. Johnson just had a request of staff for the next meeting, so if there's no objection from the body.
Granted, I would like to see a budget estimate given for items G2 and G3 under the ordinance, because these become our responsibility and not reimbursable by the Department of Transportation from Alaska. So when we actually bring this forward, if we could have a little bit of a budget estimate for some of those things, I'd sure appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, you're referring to 2240, ordinance serial 2240?
Yes, items G2 and G3 in particular are our responsibilities, and they list a whole host of items that we will be responsible for.
okay. Is there objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion is approved. There's no unfinished business or new business. We're on to communications. Madam Clerk, please read the titles of the items under communications.
Thank you. We have IM number 2215, the monthly financial reports for the period ending October 31st, 2022, to include the month-to-date expenditure report and disbursements greater than $10,000. We have 3 sets of commission meeting minutes. Parks and Rec Commission meeting, November 9, 2022, Planning Commission, November 3rd, 2022, and Wasilla Landscape Standards Review Committee, November 14th, 2022.
We are on an audience comments. It's a time for members of the public to share their views with the council. This is not a question and answer period or a time for dialogue. Speakers may be referred to administration, or issues raised may be taken under advisement by the council or administration. Is there anyone present who would like to address the city council? Seeing no one, we will move on to the mayor, clerk, attorney, and council comments. So we'll start with Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So council members, your travel packets were handed out this evening for council members Velock and Brown. Those will be in your mailboxes here in the clerk's office, so you can, and available for your pickup. We have the employee luncheon this Friday, December 2nd, starts at 11:30 a.m. and that's over at the Menard Center. And so that luncheon is generously funded by the City Council, so thank you. And if you'd like to stop by and say hi, please feel free to do so. I believe someone mentioned earlier, Celebration of Life for former Mayor Bert Cotto will be at 4 p.m. December 3rd at the Menard Center. Per the family, flowers may be sent to the Menard Center for celebration, and then those wishing to make donations can send them to either my house or to the bike project with the Friends of the Wasilla Library. Next regular meeting, we'll see you here December 12th, and then following we have December 14, 15, and 16 slated for our goals and initiative meetings. So thank you.
Okay, Madam Attorney.
No comment, Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Velock.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No comment.
Councilmember Johnson.
No comments.
Councilmember Rubio.
I do have a comment tonight. Actually, and the Wasilla representative already left, but I did speak to all of the region for a huge speech, motivational speech before regions actually started, and then got to watch the volleyball team do that, and it was awesome. It was really cool. On a side note, have you checked with Richard for the Wasilla Bike Shop? He would love to probably donate a bike. Yeah.
Councilmember Graham.
Thank you, ma'am. A couple of questions for the chief. If you could give us a staffing update. I know we had one officer graduate Sitka Academy. We have two more. I'm not sure what training is required on those, and then we still have 2 slots open. Is that my understanding? Could you update us?
Sure, absolutely. To Councilmember Graham, through the mayor. We have Ashley Duane, just graduated from the Sitka Academy. She, today was her first day back, starting her second phase, which is another 5 weeks of training on that phase, and then she'll go on to third phase. So we're looking for probably about a March end date for her. We have 2 laterals that we had just recently hired. One will need out-of-state recertification, which is down in Sitka, and they do that in the end of January into February in that last 3 weeks. He is slated to be off of his field training program by the time that recertification takes place. And then the other officer is a 15-year out-of-state veteran or experienced, and then he has 2 years here in the state, so he'll be very minimal training. And we suspect that he would be out on the road by himself under a month. So then after that, I'll have 3 open positions currently, and currently from today, I have 12 applicants right now.
Okay, that's good. And it's my understanding, first a little background, of course, the city of Wasilla has been providing SRO, school resource officers, for Houston, for Wasilla High, and for Colony High. It's my understanding that the city will no longer be providing an SRO for Colony High School. Number 1, is that true? And number 2, will that reduce your staffing level?
So currently right now, what I had to do because of my critical staffing levels, I pulled 2 SROs from Colony and from Houston. And that was to meet the needs of the mandatory overtime that I was forcing officers to come in to cover shifts. When we end up increasing, getting some of these new hires that are out on the road by themselves, and the training is no longer there, any additional personnel that we hire, they'll be slowly moved back into that position. Unfortunately, one of our SROs is out on workman's comp for a while, and he was expected to be out to 5 months. But the intention is that when I get my staffing up, that they will go back to Colony, and then they will go. Then they'll also go back to Houston. So as of right now, I haven't heard anything from the school district saying that we're no longer putting an officer over there. It's just we had discussed it, and as soon as my staffing level will get back up, they'll move back over to the high schools.
Okay, that might be a discussion you might want to have, because I understand Palmer Police is looking to fill that position.
That's nothing new. That has been an ongoing discussion, and again, they have the same staffing levels that I have. So
right.
I think usually during the summer, I think we're all going to discuss kind of how to move forward with it. But yeah, that is no secret that they're interested in Colony.
Okay.
But right now we provide that service over there for them.
So you won't be looking at any reduced staffing levels is the bottom line. We'll keep our staffing the same, hopefully. And then last thing is the vehicle manufacturing shortage is lightning. Their vehicles are becoming available. Are you going to be bringing forward a proposition for vehicles that we haven't been able to purchase the last year and a half to?
So there's 6. We have ordered 6 right now. I actually just got notification last Monday that they are currently being built. They are going over to a third-party manufacturer that's called Kerr Industries. They do a lot of the police package stuff They were being sent over there to them right now. The time frame from the time that they are over at Curry Industries to getting back to General Motors, then delivered up here, it's unknown. I know that with our state contract that we're jumping on, the troopers have been probably getting their vehicles within 6 months. But yeah, they are being built currently as we speak, and getting the equipment in. So then our next vehicle order wouldn't be until next fiscal period.
And I don't recall council authorizing those. I know we built it into the budget, but I don't recall an AM coming before the council to purchase police vehicles.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think what we authorized off the lot.
But that was a certain number of vehicles, was it not?
I defer to the finance director.
You know, if we could just make sure that that's a clean purchase, doesn't come back to bite us.
Yeah, so, and this precedes me, but I believe because of the shortage, there was amounts budgeted or approval received to get the orders placed beforehand, so in fiscal year 2022. And that removes the need for the normal FY23 purchase. And so that's why we have 6 on order, was because of that jump
If
start.
we could just check on that.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that being clean. Thank you, Chief, and thank you. And for Public Works, you know, last spring we talked about some decorative lighting for Nunley Park for the winter time to kind of clean up that tree line a little bit and get some lighting up there to enhance the appearance and the safety. Is that in the works, or are you aware of that?
I am not officially aware of it, but I will definitely check into it. I'm sure our staff remembers it. It's it's lighting in the trees by Nunley Park, is that correct?
Yeah, on that kind of tree line that's between the upper level and the lower level.
Okay, I'll look into that and get back to you.
I appreciate that. And thank you very much for the information. And just to reaffirm, you know, Bert's, Mayor Cottle's Celebration of Life is Saturday. It's going to be a big event. You know, please be there. You know, Bert did way more than his fair share, not just for this community, but for every community that he lived in, and for even communities where he didn't live, for the state in general. He did some great things at the local level. He really is was a champion of local government. So I certainly hope that we can show our respect, you know, and I certainly appreciate the city making the Menard Center turf court available for that. It's most certainly appropriate. And last but not least, congratulations to the Wasilla High School girls volleyball team. If you ever have the chance to go to any of the competitions over there, it's very worthwhile. They really appreciate your being there, and it's amazing how much energy I suppose I used to have 45 years ago, but I hope I played with the same amount of passion that they did. So, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No comment.
Okay, and so, thank you all for leading the charge while I was gone. Had a great trip. Glad to be home. So we will move on, and the strategic planning, that was awesome as far as I'm concerned. And now I think it'll make the goals and initiative easier. So we'll go from there. There's no executive session scheduled, so we'll move directly to adjournment. With no further business at hand, I am adjourning the meeting unless objection is raised. Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned at 6:39 p.m.
That's all correct.